Good morning. This is Jack Charting Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Tuesday, the 26th of August. My disclaimer: I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. Right. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com and is published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, great. Well, we saw some retracement yesterday. I got to say, there's interesting stuff happening in the news background because Trump illegally, I think, fired one of the Fed governors yesterday as part of his ongoing plan to take over and remove the independence of the Fed. Frankly, I don't think that's something which is going to be very market positive, but so far we've not seen much of a reaction. Obviously, the Fed governor has refused to go, and the Supreme Court did actually clearly delineate that, the government but the executive was not able to take control of the Fed. So I suspect that's not immediate, but it does actually show, well, Jerome Powell's term break ends in, I think, early May next year, and after that, Trump can appoint his own guy. So at that stage, the independence of the Fed, I suspect, will be lost. But it hasn't been lost yet, but obviously this is the first serious step towards doing that, and I suspect it won't be the last. All right, so let's have a look at ES. ES, we have, hang on one second. Right, ES, we have seen a consolidation around the weekly pivot. We've given back half of the gains from last week, last Friday, and I don't know. I'm not that wild about the prospects of this going up much further, but maybe. I mean, everything's back over the daily middle bands. We are looking at some consolidation because actually on Friday, both IWM and Dia hit the 3SD upper band. But at the moment, this is looking rather uncertain on NQ. We're again testing the weekly pivot at the moment, but and we did actually see a second close above the daily middle band yesterday, and it's the only one that was where it is still in doubt. But I'm not entirely convinced it's going to be holding at the end of today. We shall see. RTY, no current divergence, backtesting the weekly pivot. YM, below the weekly pivot, but effectively we've just been retracing really part of the move up last Friday, which frankly I think is a bit silly because all the stuff about the Fed, whether they're going to cut rates by a quarter point. The Fed doesn't control interest rates. It never controlled interest rates. Last year, I wrote a piece in October, I think, talking about the danger with the Fed cutting rates was that rates wouldn't go down because rates are actually set on the 10-year yield and 30-year yield. That's what all borrowing is based on. And they actually went up considerably after the Fed does that. So it doesn't actually... well, there's a common misconception that they control interest rates, and certainly that is shared by the Trump administration, but it's not actually true. All right, DAX may still be forming a bull flag, and we've made a lower low within that bull flag if a bull flag is forming. ESTX, we made the target at a retest of the June high, and actually given back the gains we made last week and more so. We do have a possible, a 60-minute buy signal which has fixed here. So looking for a bit of a rally here. Looking at the bigger picture charts. Okay, looking at the four setups here, we've almost got a double top here, but not very nice one because we didn't quite retest the high here on SPX. It would be improved by a high retest. We wouldn't be getting hourly divergence if we saw that. Looking at the Qs. Again, we're not looking at any hourly sell signals at the moment. We have been basically consolidating around the daily middle band. Might go up from there. Dia. Dia, we broke over this trend line here, and at the moment, we are back testing it. Hang on, bear with me a moment. I'll just draw that line. And at the moment, we are back testing it. So obviously, we may be going on to the next trend line, one of these two, but this could, of course, be a bearish overthrow. IWM, we've got a move back below the trend line. Again, this could be a bearish overthrow. This is the only one where if we did a retest of Friday's high, then we could potentially set up an hourly sell signal. All right. Why am I so uncertain here? Well, we've got the inflection point really nicely drawn out on crypto here, and we've now got a potential very nice looking double top on Solana. we've now got a potential very nice double top. Hang on, wait a second. On Ethereum, and I posted on Twitter the bullish setup for a return back up to the highs, and you can see that's already failed. The smallest double bottom. Actually, we've gone back down. We tested the weekly middle band. We've got a little IHS here. It is breaking up, but obviously this setup here, as I drew it, this could be a bullish underthrow, but it wasn't particularly encouraging for seeing that happening. And if crypto is going to fail here, then I think equities may well be failing too. We will see. In terms of the daily middle bands, SPX obviously is well over it and not close to a back test of it. We were testing that, and in effect, it held. Qs, we went back below the daily middle band, and we've closed really on the band. I mean, the band closed at 569.90 yesterday. Qs closed at 570.32. Marginally above, but it is closed marginally above for 2 days. Maybe it will consolidate from that and lead to another move up, but I wouldn't be that surprised to see it fell back below. Looking at the Dia chart, obviously we're well above the daily middle band there, but here in IWM we touched the 3SD upper band on Friday. And waiting to, well, that would normally lead to a day or two of consolidation, and that of course is what we're seeing. But we will see how that develops. All right, looking at the IWM daily chart, we saw the 3SD upper band touch there too. So we're seeing a bit of consolidation here. We will see. But I have to say, with the independence of the Fed being attacked today, well, I'm wondering. All right, DAX. We haven't seen the retest of the high here. I would like to see that retest of the high. We will see. Nikkei. Nikkei, we've got some daily sell signals fixed. RSI 14, RSI 5. Nice looking wedge, which looks as though it is overthrown. I'm still thinking that we may well be topping here. We do not have a very clear topping setup, and I'm watching to see what develops. But I'm not really seeing a hard break up here at the moment. At the moment, we're still in a period of consolidation, and we will see how that develops. Really, in terms of the equity charts, I'm mainly looking at SPX, which hasn't seen any kind of a breakup and hasn't quite managed a high retest, and Qs, which is well short of a high retest. Does this move look like a head and shoulders, right shoulder, or anything? No, it doesn't. Not yet. So hasn't really improved the topping setup at all. So really, we're waiting to see some more direction. Would I quite like to see a retest of the high here on Qs? Yeah, or a breakdown into this possible head and shoulder neckline in the 551 area. So we will see. All right, great. Let's have a look at DX. Now, DX, we saw a hard move down on Friday, and we've recovered most of that, but we do have a weak 60-minute sell signal brewing that may well be turning back down. EURUSD, just heading sideways at the moment. GBP USD could be forming a bull flag that might have broken up. USD JPY, I'm wondering if this is an IHS forming, but almost at the right level for the right shoulder low. Maybe. As a double bottom, obviously this has pretty much failed, but we haven't made it fully rejected back into a retest of the low yet. USD CAD, again, we hit some decent resistance there. That might hold for a while. Australian dollar, 60-minute sell signal fixed. NZUSD, 60-minute sell signals reached possible near miss target. There's not an awful lot to see here that is definitive on nothing really on currencies. We're waiting for direction. All right, CB. This is still a nice looking bull flag. I know we've been watching it for a few days. We've not made it back to resistance yet. Maybe it won't. Certainly, it's not going to be hugely encouraging if Trump is thinking of taking over the Fed and makes a serious effort to do so. But the chances are he'd be turned down by the Supreme Court. But obviously, it's just a matter of time, likely, before he does take it over. But in the meantime, I like this as a bull flag. ZN, I like this as a bull flag, and it looks like it's broken up. We will see. So we'll see how that develops. Okay, CL. This actually looked, I think, I'm not entirely sure my charts opened up correctly, but last night this has clearly made the target at 65.1, so I'm treating that as made at 65.1. We've then pulled back a bit. HO, we had a sell signal that made target. RBOB, we had a sell signal that made target. Testing the weekly pivot on RBOB, and below, well, not quite at the test there, but still below the monthly pivot on on HO. On NG, we've got this very nice possible falling wedge that's been forming since we saw. Oh, I've drawn that line slightly wrong, or it's moved slightly. Sometimes the data does jump around a little, which is annoying. Okay. Anyway, we've got this nice looking falling wedge forming from the June high. So ultimately, I think this is likely to resolve into a decent rally, and we are coming into a cyclically, seasonally bullish period. Looking at GC, we saw a nice break up. We made the IHS target. We're consolidating there. Possible little level top there, maybe, but I'd like to see it go higher. SI, I think, has a good chance of going higher too. I'd like to see a retest of this high here in about 39.95 area. On Palladium, broke up from the wedge, possible bottoming action, but we could, of course, just come down and touch wedge support currently at about the 1070 area and just expand the wedge. On Platinum, this still could be a double bottom that's broken up, but it really, really, really looks like a bear flag. So I'm leaning towards seeing bear flag support tested next in about 1310 area, and then really we could resolve that with a retest of this low here at 1270. HG, still got a bear flag that's broken down, just been trending sideways since that happened, but we've still got an open target basically at this trend line here and a retest of this low. Looking at KC, KC, we lost the divergence and then have been coming back to back test the weekly pivot. Obviously, we have long since made the IHS target. Nothing compelling saying this is about to reverse back down. SB, this still could be an inverted head and shoulders, but as I was saying, likely needs to break up this week if it is. Otherwise, we're likely to head back and retest this low. Looking at CC, this kind of looks like a bull flag that's thinking about breaking up. No really good trend lines on it, I don't think. Hang on, wait a second. Yeah, not even close. So no decent trend lines on it, but I am wondering whether we might be heading back up. And actually, we've got a little IHS forming here that's trying to break up, but I haven't marked it in. CT, we broke up from a little double bottom here and fell back into the lows. This could be a larger double bottom, but it's too big. It's just way too big. So I'm going to take that out. This is a larger double bottom, which is broken up, and I've still got these open targets here at about the 69.10 to 69.60 area. Lumber, possible bottoming action for a rally. ZW, possible bottoming action. Corn, this is a little potential head and shoulders. We've got a 6-minute sell signal fixed, but that's almost reached the possible near miss target. But I am thinking we might see a bit of a retracement here. On soy, no current divergence. We do have a daily sell signal on the bigger picture chart. On ZL, we made the double bottom target and we've been pulling back. Currently looks like a bull flag forming. Live cattle continuing higher at the moment. HE, still thinking this is a flag which is probably broken down towards a retest of the low. Not showing any sign of going there at the moment. All right, great. In that case, where are we on equities overall? We are in a state of uncertainty. We are waiting for direction. We saw a bit of a pullback yesterday. We could see some retests of the Friday highs potentially, but bigger picture, we're looking very unresolved. What I don't think is likely is to see a hard break up from here. I'm not seeing any basis for it really in terms of patterns or anything else. We will see how that goes. And I'm watching with concern on crypto. Crypto could still go up from here. That could just have been a bullish underthrow, but I've got to say that was a very nice setup I posted yesterday on crypto to get back to the highs, and we wrecked it overnight, which wasn't particularly encouraging for equities either. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at questions. All right, all done. In that case, my pleasure as always, guys. I will catch you guys tomorrow morning.